The following program is sponsored by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the frim sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon and happy Monday, everybody. It is another gorgeous February day. It is still February, I think. We only got 2 days left of it.
We need a leap year.
And we're here on the Lunchbox.
Now, February is a rip-off month. I mean, everybody knows that, right? You're paying your rent way too soon. Bills pop up. It seems like just yesterday you paid them all. And here we are. We're at the end of the month. It's a disgrace. They really need to change the calendar.
Two ways of looking at that, Defo. One is that, the bills come up, but if you're getting the Social Security checks, as you and my mother do, it means they come up quicker, and then you get
that's
it
nice.
again.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it was weird because came on the 8th last month, and I get mine like on the second Wednesday of every month. And believe me, it's a welcome deposit into my bank account. And if Rick Scott or Rubio have anything to say about this, I know they say it's grandfathered in for the old folks like me, but there's no way that they should ever destroy the system since we've all been paying into it our entire lives. It's my money. I want it back. I want it back, government. I want my money back, and I want it now. I'm like the guy Maury in Goodfellas here. I mean, I want my money. Where's Jimmy?
They're wearing it. They're all wearing it. So, no, the thing is, I hate that people call it an entitlement program. And, I mean, people pay into it their whole lives. That doesn't sound like something they're...
When I was 14, I was shocked that there was a deduction in my paycheck. I made $11 my first week I was working at Shea. It was one, during the football season. So it was only one game a week. I made $11.60, and I got like $10.90. And I thought, my God, what are they doing to me? And it was Social Security and FICA and all that other garbage. State tax, too, in New York.
My daughter is, this was her first year, 2022, working, and she got her first tax forms. The W-2 came in from her job, and they have all these deductions for the Medicare and the Social Security. I explained to her that this is what gets paid into, and that if some people have their way, you'll never see that money again. But then she was all excited because she thought that she's going to file a return and get a income tax refund because because she doesn't make enough money. She's below that line where you have to pay any income taxes.
Below the Mendoza line, the IRS.
But the thing is, then she was disappointed when she looked in the box of how much actual federal income tax was withheld as opposed to the Social Security and the Medicare. Yeah, her grand total withheld from wages that were in the mid 4 digits. $29.33 of federal income tax. I said, Natalia, you're going to be getting a big fat refund. $29.
That's $15 exacta box. Close to it. Anyway, you'll give her the other 60 cents.
In her world, it's not even a movie ticket and a popcorn, or maybe a Starbucks, a frappuccino and a cookie, or maybe like that.
Remember when you dreamt of making $100,000 a year, and it was like the big deal. That was the benchmark. Like, wow, I'm making $100,000. And you thought you would, finally achieve something. And now with $100,000, you're barely above the poverty line. It's amazing. How about Lubie on load management? The Kawhi Leonard of broadcasting gets in late, and ends up. We had to pass on the show this morning. Sarney was very upset, Jim Sarney, and here's Lubie, but ready to go. I mean, he got the morning off and
off the plane,
fresh as a daisy here with a dress shirt and everything.
Off the plane and onto the restream, onto the whole platforms here on the South Florida Live networks, on Facebook and YouTube, along with the Let's Eat South Florida group. We are inching towards 100,000 members, 99,200.
Is there an over-under on when that is achieved?
It's going to happen sooner than I'd like because we don't have anything planned.
Are you putting a line out on that, Michael? Come on. We do get into degenerate stuff here on the show.
March 5th is the day.
March 5th. Okay, so now what are you taking? Over or under? That's
March 5th is the day. That's the line. You could go over or under, but that's the line I'm staying. So,
under.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who's taking action on this?
I don't know.
Nobody? I mean, you're involved in all this offshore book stuff. I mean, come on.
I don't do anything illegal. All my gambling is legal, my friend. I do it on my phone apps not for sports.
Gambling is not legal at Bushwood. and I never
There
sliced.
is.
Yeah. No gambling at Bushwick.
Caddyshack.
That was it. Yeah, yeah.
Did you
Caddyshack.
see that there's a horse named Carl Spackler and that it won for fun at like 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 at Gulfstream? And you know who Carl Spackler is?
No.
Okay.
Caddyshack?
Yeah. Do you know that one, Luby? I'm hoping I'm right. I'm making it up. I think that's the character that Bill Murray played. Carl Spackler was
Carl
the
Spackler?
Oh,
green-
and
Could be.
Caddyshack.
Yeah.
in Caddyshack. Carl Spackler was the green.
A brilliant role by Murray, by the way.
Who was the one who would say, you just all you got to do is just.
He turned out to be a bit of a strange
him-
cat, though.
cut-
I mean,
cut
some
him
of the
right
stories that are out there about him now are not particularly flattering. Would you agree?
I don't know. I don't read the news anymore. I don't. Watch
I
the
do,
news.
and I have a headline for you that I think you'll appreciate with your former newspaper background. It's right on the front page of the New York Post,
Okay.
and this is in relation to a story that you often reference.
You
'cause it has
support
such-
Rupert Murdoch. This is interesting.
No, I love the sports section. I don't consider it
Yes,
supporting
yes.
Murdoch.
I don't need the justifications of the rationalizations.
They're
The bottom
backing,
line is you
they're
put
backing
money.
Ron DeSantis for president. Where do you
Yes.
think I
Yeah,
stand
that's
on the rest
Rupert's
of the
new
news?
guy. Of course,
They love him,
yeah.
man. They love
They
this
do.
guy. But
Out with the
see,
old.
I'm not critical of that. I can separate my my love of the sports section from the rest of the newspaper here, and I get a kick out of reading some of this stuff because it's good to have a little balance, right? You see the other side, you go, well, that is ridiculous, but it's nice to see how they express it. But this is in relation to COVID, which had a tremendous impact on the restaurant industry and everybody else's lives as well. COVID leak from Chinese lab, Energy Department report, and the headline in the Post, which they're great, the best headlines of any newspaper ever. It had to be Wu.
All right. And that's-
Don't you wish you had written that, Mayo, when you were
No, I
writing,
really
you weren't
don't,
writing headlines
because-
there in your early days at that South Carolina newspaper or whatever that was?
I don't even know what that means. I mean, Wuhan. So
Yes.
is that
Yeah,
why it's
Wu,
considered-
Wuhan.
Oh, the
It had to
Republican.
Yeah.
be Wu. I mean, there's a song. Come
There
on.
are many in our audience who would consider that kind of a racist take on
I
a
think
Chinese
so.
trope, and I don't particularly like that. I don't like
think,
the
I think
headline.
it's brilliant. I'm sorry.
I also
disagree
think,
with you.
well, first of all, it comes in backwards. I have to read Hebrew to read that headline because you're
All
holding
right.
it up
All
on the
right.
camera that's reversed. Can we talk about eating? Because we had a big weekend
Let's
of
do
eating,
it.
gentlemen. I don't know if there was
What
much
didn't
gambling.
you eat? You were at that chicken place that you said was closed.
Let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about the exotic traveling man and
Yeah.
Lubie.
Oh.
I don't know if Atlanta is so exotic, but it's somewhere that's different. And what were you doing there? Was there some sort of family function, or this was just a chance to go somewhere else for a weekend?
My best friend who lived here his whole life, went to college with me, known him since I'm 9, moved up there like a year ago. So he's been back a couple times. I haven't been up there to see him yet. And I've been in Atlanta in my life, but I've never stayed in the Atlanta area. He lives about 25 minutes out of the center of Atlanta. So it was actually pretty cool. So figured my wife was out of town. That's a bachelorette thing. So I figured why not? Flights were super cheap and I could stay with him. So it was a good time. And the food's interesting there. The cultural breakdown's very different to Atlanta than it is here. Like being here, you just see all cultures all over the place. There, it's you don't see as much of that. You see a lot of white and a lot of black, and the
Right, there's Southern, and
changes much.
it's white Southern.
It's pretty
and black
segregated. There.
Southern.
Yeah, it really is. Still, I mean,
the
it's crazy.
intermixing was fine of the two races, but it's
Yeah.
just interesting to me when you don't hear a lot of Spanish. Like I go around everywhere, and I'm so used to it. So
Right.
and the food is representative of that. Like you'll see they have a lot of Mexican food, but they don't have the Caribbean Hispanic foods that we have, or the South American Hispanic food we have. But the Southern food there is solid, and they've grown a lot in there. I remember going there years ago, and you didn't see vegan or vegetarian or health conscious. When you're around the city and outside of it, there's a lot more organic and a lot more of that, which is pretty interesting to me. And the food quality was really good. We had a lot of those out. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's like any big major metropolitan area now that, as you know, things have grown, the food diversity has grown in terms of the veganism and the organic farm to table
The hot dog
stuff.
place, though, is the big place there.
the varsity,
The
right?
varsity, yeah. Well, I mean, they sell like
Did-
8 zillion hot dogs.
And
I'll
they-
say this: I had a weird experience there. Louie and I were there for the Super Bowl, and Mustang was looking, for a place to, just have a drink while we were still, finishing up work. So I meet her at this place, and it said it was a jazz club, and it was right near the Super Bowl press site. I'm not sure. I think it was by the stadium, but I'm not sure. Anyway, wherever they held the, whole convention for Radio Row. So I walked to this place, and Mustang told me that when she sat down at the bar, they asked her, "Are you sure you want to come in here?" And I could not believe the level of segregation that was still going on. This was how many years ago? It'll be about 4, 5, 6 years ago, maybe.
6 years ago.
still going on in Atlanta. I thought it was very, very unusual. We went in and had a good time. Nobody bothered us, but no, it was kind of a strange place in that regard. I would not have expected that. Even having lived here in Florida for a long time, where a lot of weird things happen in that regard as you get north of Palm Beach. But it was pretty strange, Michael. I don't know. Have you dined around in Atlanta a lot? Because
I haven't been there in a while. I spent a long time there. I was there for the '96 Olympics for like the entire month, and
okay.
at that point, there was these neighborhoods. Little Five Points was kind of this like funky area, and then there was the I forget when you go a little bit further north of downtown. There was kind of a lot of good trendy restaurants, but again, it was mainly American, new Southern, modern Southern things that were a little bit hipper. Not that there was a couple of sushi places, a couple of Thai restaurants, but like Luby said, nothing in the way of the Caribbean or the Cuban, our kind of Spanish, the South American and Cuban food. Yeah, back then it was, I would say, well, first of all, everything is named
96, that had to really be in the Stone Age then.
yeah,
in
and
that
this,
regard.
but everything was Peachtree. It was Peachtree this, Peachtree Street, Peachtree
Yeah.
Lane, Peachtree Plaza, Peachtree, and then I didn't actually see any peaches or peach pie, but there's, but you know what? It's one of those towns now. It used to be like if you were Southern, a Southern family, and you went vegan, you were disowned from the family because basically everything there is just things that are just cooked in bacon fat and lard and
You're thinking
butter.
barbecue too, aren't you? In
Yeah,
Atlanta? Yeah,
barbecue is.
that's big there.
I'm thinking more along the lines, yeah, to North Carolina, South Carolina, but Georgia has barbecue mainly in the outer rural areas, but obviously Atlanta area has its share of barbecue places. Nothing that's real fancy or famous, but the Varsity is actually it's a chili and hot dog parlor with a
Joe
lot
says
of
it's
restaurants.
overrated.
Oh,
Joe
I
from
ate there
Gulfstream,
when
our
we were
good
there for
friend.
the Super
And
Bowl.
he would
Like,
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
I
a-
never loved it that much.
it
There
was
was a place. So to me, uh, that style of like just greasy, horrible for you food. I spent a year in Spartanburg, South Carolina, covering various sports in South Carolina. Now in Spartanburg, we had a place called the Beacon, which was very similar to the Varsity, except it was smaller. And it was in Spartanburg instead of Atlanta, so it wasn't crowded all the time. Varsity is open 24/7, or at least it was pre-COVID.
As I recall, we passed by there and it was jamming. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
Well, that's where
always
drunk
busy.
people
Yeah.
go after a night of drinking to, sop up all the alcohol.
Well,
Now, if you think
what's the thing there? I mean, what makes their hot dog stand out? Like a Nathan's hot dog, you can
was a-
distinguish
no,
right
it's
away.
it's a garbage.
Yeah, it was a-
I mean, no, it's a hot dog made from pork. So again, who knows what's in it? It's not like a kosher all beef dog, but it also they slop on the chili. And if you think Skyline chili is bad, I didn't like the chili
think the
at the
chili's not bad?
Varsity
Oh,
at
okay.
all. At least the Skyline has
That's
some
too bad.
distinct flavors with the cinnamon and the nutmeg. This just tastes like glop, the sloppy Joe stuff
Worse than
that you find
Hormel.
in the stuff that you find in elementary school cafeterias.
Well, were you a
So
fan of Hormel chili? By the way, I don't know if we
we've
ever
discussed
clarified
this
that.
many
Yeah.
times,
Oh,
but
we did.
let
Okay.
me. I know that you are a little bit getting up there. So no, I hate Hormel chili. I'll
Oh, okay.
eat
All right.
Skyline chili every day of the week. Joe Cassell chimes in. Fox Brothers Barbecue in Atlanta is very legit, but of course, it's twin brothers originally from Texas, so they're bringing the Texas style barbecue to Georgia and not the Georgia Carolina style. That's yeah. I haven't been there in a while, and I'm glad that Luby is doing the traveling for us, so because we are all set in our ways here. Did you? So tell me about you. You sent me some pictures about you.
Oh, the
Went
Cafe
to
Max. I
Cafe
know you
Max.
have you have kind of a beef with the place. I don't know
I
if
don't
that
have a beef
stems
with the
from
place.
maybe a little bit of a disagreement that you had with Chef Oliver. But
I never had any disagreements. I just wrote one
I
time.
noticed this, Michael. I mean, I'm being honest on a show here, and this is what it's all about: transparency and journalism. But when I bring up the Cafe Max, which I think is one of the best restaurants down here, you go into a little bit of a I don't know about that, and and it was always one of my favorites. I took almost all of my first time starters in there when I was dating a lot of different women after my second marriage, and it's always impressive. I mean, I brought the flowers and the whole thing, and then dinner at the Cafe Max, you can't go wrong. But I hadn't been there in a while. I went to meet a friend of mine for a drink, and he had ordered a couple of appetizers and suggested, yeah, why don't you have a little taste of this? And you're saying it's become kind of ordinary, though. I thought the sashimi pizza that they make and the caviar pie, I thought they were both absolutely divine. I thought they really did a great job with that. I didn't stay for the main course, which they had their signature dish, the caramelized onion snapper over the mashed potatoes. I've always been a fan of that. Maybe it's a little pricey now for what it was, compared to when I was frequenting the place often. But it seemed to me, and we were saying this before the show, that everybody that was in there was enjoying themselves immensely in one way or another. Where there was a sophisticated table, dining, food, or a bunch of guys like us that were getting a little raucous. But everybody was the vibe there was like. The food is great, and everybody was satisfied. Kind of like Seville, Runway 84, maybe the Catherine, a lot of other places that you mentioned. And is that not the mark of a good restaurant? Plus, a great bread basket on the bread service. I don't know if it was free, but whatever they had in there, that could have been a meal by itself. It was like the old days at Wolfie's.
It's funny you mentioned the bread basket because somebody put something on the Let's Eat group in the last day about his theory is you could always judge a restaurant by its bread basket.
Yeah, I
And
saw
if
that.
you
That's
get
why I
a
mentioned
bread basket.
it.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I'm paying attention.
Oh, good. All right. I ascribe to that theory. I think if you get a good bread basket,
true.
something
Yeah.
that's fresh and something that has maybe a little variety, or in the case of Seville, that great
Seville is
sourdough
brilliant.
that's nice and warm and you can dunk it and everything, then it usually portends a good meal awaits. So now, in the case of Cafe Max, I never said that it was. I don't know what you ascribe to me. It's like I haven't made faces. I haven't said that it's
I
yuck.
don't sense that you're the biggest fan. I mean, it's okay.
So
I mean,
let me. All
everybody's
right,
got their
and
own particulars. Yeah.
in the interest of full transparency, here's my take on the place. I went
All
in
right.
there. I was gonna and look, it's been around for a long time. And Daryl and Oliver, I give them major props
They do
because
a great job.
anybody that, like you said, they've developed an atmosphere and a loyal customer base, and that people that just swear by it. And it's you'll always be well taken care of. I've never had any problem with service or hospitality there.
Service is excellent. Yeah.
And when I was the critic for the Sentinel, I was thinking of re-reviewing it because it had been a while, probably over 10 years, since it had gotten a formal assessment in the Sun Sentinel. So I went in there once. It was like, I was going to maybe do 2 meals there, like 2 meals. I went with a friend. I was going to go 2 times with 2 people.
Undercover or as Mike?
Yeah,
always
no,
undercover, right?
I mean, I'm undercover. I don't know who knows me or doesn't at that point.
Everybody
But,
knows you, Mayo.
well,
You're
now they
pictured
know.
everywhere, man. Sicilian
in
oven. Your
Broward,
picture's at
they
the
know
front door.
me.
Yeah.
In parts of Dade and Palm Beach, not so much. But
All right.
it's but back then, and it was like around.
You're underestimating your popularity as the food critic. Everybody
All right.
paid attention to what you were saying.
So I do appreciate their the sashimi pizza, the caviar pie. These are their signature dishes, and they're
Appetizers. Those were
and
appetizers.
yeah, signature appetizers, and they've always had them on the menu, and they're good. They're good at what they do. It reminds me like the fact that these things have been around since the 80s and they don't necessarily
Dated.
change it. It's a people pleaser, so I understand why you don't change something like that. But those dishes feels like very 1980s to me. It feels like I've walked into Spago
Oh, yeah,
or
wow.
Wolfgang Puck, because that's something you would see at a Wolfgang Puck
I
restaurant.
can see
And I
this.
don't-
The taste is actually still with
The
me
taste
from
is
that
fine.
sashimi
Okay.
pizza. Yeah.
Let me
still
get
with
to
me.
the rest of it,
Yeah.
because those, if I could live with that. But then we had like a special that they were doing because it was October and like the fall season, and they had these like it was the what's the pumpkin spice encrusted lamb chops.
Oh, please.
And
Sounds pretty sophisticated there. Yeah.
and my theory is a good chef can make things that I don't like personally taste great. Like if it's in the hands of a really talented chef.
Yeah.
So I ordered it even though
Uh-oh.
I don't particularly like.
Now I see the left hook coming. Yeah. Now I see the problem. Go ahead.
Something you weren't gonna like, and
Yeah.
makes you-
And sometimes, look, I don't like coconut. I had a coconut cake one time at Q, that place in Miami that I love, that I used to love, and it was like it was unlike any coconut cake. I devoured every last bite, even though I don't like coconut.
Okay.
This pumpkin spice encrusted lamb chops, let me tell you, it
We
was
know
like
you like
every
lamb
other.
chops. Yeah.
It was
We
I
know you
do,
like that.
but it was
Yeah.
like every other pumpkin spice thing. Like
It's a pure
I didn't
pumpkin.
think it worked. I think it was tricked up. It was unnecessary, and I just like, nah, that wasn't good. And then there was something else we got. It was a pasta dish, complete glue. It was overcooked and just
Wow.
not good.
And
I
you
didn't
mentioned this
send.
in the article?
No, I didn't write
you
it.
didn't do it.
Okay, I
Okay.
took. Okay, here's the thing.
Lamb.
Because there's comes a point where some critics like to go in and do a hatchet job on
Just
a
pound the
long-running
place, yeah.
place, like Pete Wells at the New York Times did with Peter Luger's a couple of years ago. He gave
Which you
it
think
0
is great, and
stars.
everybody else does too.
Most people do.
I still think they do what they do well, but
Yeah.
he bashed the place. He gave it 0 stars, and he was doing that
Zero?
to get attention. Yeah, 0 stars. Peter.
It was like going to Joe's and wanting it to be like a South Beach nightclub. Like,
Well, no, it's like you
it's just
assess
what
it.
the place is. Like, what do you?
You assess a place on its strengths, and he was like, he ordered a piece of fish one night at Peter Luger's and says it was terrible, and why do they have it on the menu? Well, because some people want to eat fish, but it was
That's true.
terrible. But whatever, he did his review. I didn't have a good experience. I didn't talk to him. I didn't send the pasta dish back. I didn't even. So I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to do this re-review because the place, what is it going to do? The place has its loyalists. I don't want to like pound on it. I could have gone back a different night and probably ordered different things, but I just found at that time, this was going back to like 2017, Defo.
Yeah.
The prices like of that lamb dish was like $58. And I just
prices
found,
definitely have escalated, but you always accuse me of thinking I'm in the 1920s.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I mean,
No,
it
but
is what it is.
but back then, $58 for a lamb chop special.
Oh,
in
I don't know, yeah.
2017.
Oh,
I
geez.
just found
A
it.
little
I
pricey,
found it
no doubt.
way overpriced
For what it is.
for just compared to other really top notch places around
All right.
town at that time. I don't know what it is now. They do look. I
Now,
don't.
did
wanna
you get into
denigrate.
it with Oliver? I mean,
No, I
or
never
you just
did.
never
But
mentioned
the
anything?
thing is, I never wrote a
They knew
word
what
for
you were
this.
thinking.
I never wrote. So you know what? I must have gone in there in like 2018. It was right around the time when Let's Eat
Yeah.
was starting, because I never wrote a word about it in the Sun Sentinel. I didn't re-review it. I didn't give it 2 stars or 1
All right.
star.
Well,
or
you
anything
couldn't
like
do
that.
I mean, yeah,
No, well, I mean, you could.
you could have, but I
The
mean,
toughest
you-
critic would have.
it would
I
have been
didn't
a very
wanna do that.
unpopular opinion. Yes.
Well, I didn't want to do that because the place, it still has. Yeah, look, I might have just hit it on that bad night. And I
Maybe,
didn't go
yeah.
back for the second visit. I was like, I don't even want to do this. But I did put a couple of words at one time when somebody was mentioning Cafe Max. I didn't post about it, but when somebody mentioned Cafe Max in a
You
post,
made a face.
and I put a little comment saying the last time I was there, I wasn't that impressed.
All right.
And I guess Daryl or Oliver, that they must have seen that comment, because then when I saw Chef Daryl at the Offerdall cook-off.
Oh
one
yeah,
time,
and he was always a big participant there,
Oliver was there every year. Yeah.
and he always
Oliver-
knocked it out of the park.
He
Making
loved
something
Oliver, he
very
gave me-
unusual,
he-
very
he-
Mayo-esque.
He gave me a stink eye that day,
Oh,
so I
yeah?
knew he saw that.
Ah.
So-
Yeah, there you go, Lubie. We found the bottom of this. I'll say this. I mean, it's possible, and you know this to be true, that, as you said, any restaurant maybe could have like a couple of dishes come out that aren't exactly what, they would normally want them to be. And, it's fair if that's the only time in there to say, well, geez, I was disappointed. But I really kind of, thought, wow, this rejuvenated my interest in going back there for dinner, because I thought it was great what I had. I really did. And it was always a favorite of mine. And I knew it was pricey or whatever. I mean, you're not going in there thinking you're getting out of there for like $40 for 2. I mean, it's a nice place to go now that they have the bar and the full liquor license, and just maybe have an appetizer at the bar and have a cocktail if you're meeting somebody. For that, I mean, I think, it's fantastic also. But I was very impressed. I really was. And I hadn't
No,
been,
no, it's-
I would say 5-6 years. I'd been in there
And-
maybe once or twice, but not for, a full dinner in a few years.
And
I
again,
thought it was
I'm
great.
going back 5 years. I haven't been
Yeah.
in there, so it's not even fair for me to talk about
Yeah, me
something
too.
5 years ago. I should go in there again. And I gave you a big opening, Defo. You didn't take it. You
What's that?
you should maybe say to me, Well, you ordered wrong. Nobody orders pasta.
No,
Exactly.
see, that's not my
Cafe
game. I
Mex.
mean, that you like to condemn people. I mean, my theory. We argued this out before on the show that with the Greek restaurant, which I know I made a mistake there, wrote a
Yeah, you made a
mistake,
huge mistake. A
but
blunder.
I didn't.
Colossal
I
blunder.
don't think that that's like an automatic built-in excuse for a restaurant. I believe if you run a good restaurant, a really well-run restaurant, and especially these top-end restaurants where they're charging premium prices, if you have it on the menu, it should be good. And if it's not,
So,
then the server should say, "Hey, I don't really recommend that you try that."
so
You know?
wait,
It's
so
so
then
funny. It happened to me in Atlanta because I wanted Southern comfort food so bad,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize. And because when I went years ago, Atlanta still was known for that. It's more of a Georgia thing, but outside the city, not in and around the city. It's not, you're not seeing fried chicken and mac and cheese and greens everywhere. It's more of it's become a lot more modern and more eclectic in that regard in their taste.
yeah,
And just,
it's not like the down home Southern cooking. Paula Dean's melt a stick of butter and throw it in, the
it's not,
the
Georgia has
biscuits
that,
and the
but
gravy.
not Atlanta. So, anyways, so we're at a place yesterday outside around the Braves. They have another ballpark. I didn't even realize they got another ballpark. And the area is really cool. They did what they're supposed to do with Marlins and all these other, but they actually did it. It's there's shops, there's restaurants. People go there to hang out even when there's no baseball. So we found a deli, right? And they actually had some Southern things. I'm like, all right, we either want biscuits and gravy or I want like a chicken. I want something.
Right.
And I asked the guy and he made a face with the biscuits and gravy. But he's like, if you're going to go between those two, you have to get this. And I got the thing he told me and it was great. So I actually appreciate when the servers don't hold back.
When they point you in the right direction. We always like that. That's good. Yes. Now, Defo, you realize what you just did there. You said
What'd I do?
a restaurant. You would be Pete Wells. You would go to Peter Luger's and order the fish and then trash him.
No,
and give him zero
now in that
stars.
case, I didn't realize. That one time I went to what's it called? The Greek. What is it?
The Greek
Starts
Isles
with a T.
Taverna
Yeah,
or
no, not the
Thassos?
Greek Isles.
Thassos. You went to
Thassos, yeah.
Thassos. Yeah.
I would figure that they, since they make lamb really well and all this other stuff, I mean, if they feature a $60 steak on the menu, that it would come out, being, at least really good, not necessarily like the best steak I ever had in my lifetime, but I would not expect it to not be all that appealing. Let's put it that way.
You got what you deserve there, buddy.
Well, I don't think it's that much of a differential. I mean, it's not like I ordered, like a chili dog there or something.
Exactly.
And I believe this. I don't know why you don't agree to at least an extent that if you have it on the menu and it doesn't come with a warning like don't order this unless you're really a fool, or that the server knows that this is not a popular dish that everybody complains about it. Which is part of the job of being a server is to kind of size up your, your clientele and give them good advice on things.
Yeah,
It should be representative at least of the rest of the food in the restaurant. It doesn't have to be their best dish, but it shouldn't be something that you're really disappointed in.
Right. Do they rub their steaks with oregano and olive oil?
I
or
don't
was
even
a
remember it.
Greek
It was so
seasoning?
undistinguishable that, what was it, the worst meal I ever had? No, but, that whole notion that you ordered the wrong thing. I mean, if it's on the menu, you should consider that it's going to be somewhat commensurate with the food that you get, the rest of the time. Although at a steakhouse
how do
like Peter
I-
Luger's, ordering the snapper probably isn't a great idea.
Let me sum it up this way, and I think we've had
You're
this
very
ar-
peculiar about this. I mean,
Yeah,
very
just stop
adamant. I mean,
calling me
you are
peculiar. You know,
unbreakably unbendable on
very
any of these kind of arguments, Mayo.
Stay
You're
in the
unbelievable.
lane. Stay in the lane.
Are you always this intolerant of other people's, like? I mean, why not go to a
I'm
restaurant
going
and
to let
order
you
what you
keep
want if
talking.
it's on the menu?
Just bury yourself.
I'm not burying myself. I'm burying you because
No, you're
you
not
have
burying.
no tolerance for
If you
other
let me
people's.
speak, I will give the summary, which I've
You've
done
been
before.
talking the whole time, and you haven't said anything except, "Hey, you're an idiot. You're a fool." I mean,
I never
it
use the
can't. It
words
can't be
idiot.
that way. A person shouldn't feel responsible for a lousy item on a menu. That they shouldn't. I don't think so.
In a perfect world, everything would be great on every menu. In the real world, certain restaurants are known for certain dishes and have particular specialties. Joe's Stone Crab, you get the stone crab, you get the fried chicken, you get the cream
Well,
spinach,
Joe Stone
and
crabs.
the
I
hash
mean, the
browns.
fried chicken is a radical departure from stone
You go.
crabs, and
Of
the
course,
uppity
but they
stuff
do
that
it
they have.
well, and
Yeah.
anybody who's done their
Okay.
homework or follows the waiters will know to get it. Just like when you go to Tropical Acres, you get the filet mignon, you get the rack of lamb, you get the twin lobster special. There are certain things there that are going to be tried and true
But
and
they do
terrific.
seafood well. I mean,
And
I've
they
had
do a good
seafood
job with
there.
the other stuff,
I
actually.
mean,
No, I'm
the
not saying
scallops
they
we had there were
don't, but
great.
there are certain specialties, and you
Don't
should
expect
always
it.
go.
So you
for
should expect
specialties.
the scallops not to be good at Tropical Acres because they're a steakhouse.
I
That's
didn't
what you're
say
saying?
that. Let's not
Okay.
say that because it's always good at Tropical
Yeah.
Acres, and that
Oh,
gives us a
okay.
perfect
Yeah.
time to go into.
Yeah.
It's
See, you
a.
weaken out. There you go. Just dropping right out of the whole thing. That the problem
Well,
is,
not jumping. I want to do a live
simple
spot.
thing to agree
It's
with.
12:31. We have to draw
Well, look at
names
you,
out of a
man.
hat.
All right, I'll tell you what.
I got to get the train back on
I'll let
schedule.
you. It's not off the rails. It's where you took it. It really is because you will not agree that if a restaurant is an outstanding restaurant, they have an item on the menu, you should expect it to be at least good.
Yes,
That's all I'm saying.
Four-star
You
restaurant.
shouldn't feel
yes.
guilty about yourself being, oh man, what a fool I am because Mayo says I shouldn't have ordered this. I mean, that's crazy.
And this goes back to my rating system. My top rating of 4 stars. That's a restaurant where everything on the menu, from the bread basket to dessert and coffee, is high quality, excellent. And a 3-star restaurant is you got to live in the real world, and it does some things well, and some things might not be the best. A 2-star restaurant is, basically roll the dice and take your chances. And a 1-star restaurant is run for the hills and and just well, whatever. I just hope somebody else is paying because otherwise you're going to feel ripped off. Anyway, you'll never feel ripped off at one of my places where I gave 3.5 stars, which is almost the top flight, where everything is to that good to excellent range, and that's Tropical Acres. Today is half price wine night, and I might need one of those. My sobriety is sorely being tested by you today on this show, along with other extenuating circumstances. But Monday and Tuesdays at Tropical Acres, you can get the great half price bottles of wine, along with half price drinks in the bar for happy hour between 4:30 and 6:30. I don't know about you, Defo, but I am fixing to get in there again soon. Last time I was in there was with my poker buddy Dan. We had some good happy hour appetizers at the bar. We had a couple of drinks each. I think we had like 3 small plates, and our total tab was something like, I don't know, $40 to have like 3 dishes and 4 drinks for $40 in this day and age. It's absurd, especially when it's good. No, make it very good quality food. And again, you can't beat the prime rib, the filet mignon. Tropical Acres is 2500 Griffin Road. It's tropicalacres.com. You could go on there for some of the upcoming events. They have all kinds of sometimes these different singing acts besides the usual piano player. They're open every day but Sunday. They also have a butcher shop that's open that you could go in there and get some of their great steaks and other products. That's open from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. every day but Sunday. And then, of course, the dining room opens at 4:30. The Studio Alley family, they have been doing it a long time. They'll take great care of you. They are known for their service. If something goes wrong, tell them. They'll make it right. Don't believe some of these people on Let's Eat South Loud. They just love to kvetch. But it's one of these places that, again, 72 going on 73 years, they're doing something right. 74 years, excuse me, 1949. I can't even believe how the calendar just keeps whizzing by, Defo, but they have stood the test of time, and they will endure because Tropical Acres is Lunchbox approved. Tell them Mayo, Defo, and Lubie sent you. How about that? Defo, now's the point where you're supposed to throw it to the other spots. That's it.
No, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt here.
He's getting difficult. Is it me?
No, I'm not. I'm just going to see there.
You are very straight line. Default opens up for nuance, and because you were a writer, there's this way or that way. So you guys seem to clash in that regard. Defoe's never been, as I've learned doing radio with him for 12 years, the people who are like this or that have always frustrated Defo. And Mike Mayo tends to once in a while, when it comes to his opinions on food, be like that. So we're going to do more of that. next, right here.
Defo's like that with Skyline. He's very black and white with the
No,
Skyline.
I don't mind if you like it. I mean, I just don't. That's
Boxes.
my preference there. If you
I
like
just
it, it's
thought you were
great.
going to
Go
throw
there
it
every
to the
day.
rest of the spots. That's
Oh
all.
no,
I
no,
just-
Lubie can do that. That's cool.
I didn't realize you're on strike
Yeah.
now. No, I didn't realize that we were going
No,
to.
I'm just gonna measure my comments. Because
You don't have to measure anything except
Yeah.
well, I don't even know what that. I got to measure my waist. It's getting out of hand. I
I
did
don't
some
know.
walking this morning. All right, let's do some commercials. We'll pick a winner. Let's have some happiness. Will be
It's all happiness. I mean,
winners to 10 Palms brunch, and yeah, we'll do that after these words on the Lunchbox. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all: Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're back. It's not official until I hear the Oliver tune. So here we are. It's a Monday. We've already taken the gloves off. Speaking of gloves, how was the boxing on Friday night there, Defo?
Had a great time. It was really a lot of fun. Had a hot dog there, which I hadn't had in a long, long time. Just hadn't eaten
A
for a while.
Hialeah hot dog.
Hialeah dog. They did a great job. Really a tremendous job of organizing the thing. The fights themselves weren't exactly overwhelmingly scintillating, I will say that. But the fans were happy because their guys won. And the main event ended in a spectacular one-round knockout by the comebacking former world champion Guillermo Rigondeaux. So, no, but a really, really well done by congratulations to all the people at Hialeah Park. They put on a great show there. It was a lot of fun being out there.
Oh, that's good. And I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I was still kind of under the weather or whatever you want to call it. I was like out of it all last week. I'm finally feeling almost 100% again. I'm done with all my medications and drugs. And I still have a little congestion. I'm bringing things up, but it'll, I guess, take a few more weeks to completely run its course. But so on Friday night, I ended up just sleeping all night, but it was the rest of the weekend where, man, I did some eating around my area, and there's that new chicken place that opened up on Federal Highway in Dania Beach. It's called Cluckin' Hot Chicks. It's a Nashville chicken sandwich stand, but they also do fried chicken baskets and some other things. I was in there. It opened up literally like on Friday, and I went in there yesterday for lunch. A little bit pricey for the sandwich alone was $9, which was interesting to me considering not more than 200 yards north on Federal Highway is a Popeyes, where the Popeyes chicken sandwich is very popular, and I think it still only goes for $3.99. And they uh, the this place Cluckin' Hot Chicks, it was a good hefty breast, but it was a little bit crunchy and had the heat built into it. And they asked if they wanted everything on it, and by everything, it ended up just being coleslaw and some mayonnaise. I thought there'd be pickles. When they say everything, I thought it would be pickles if it's a Nashville sandwich, but next time I know, I'll ask for pickles. But I don't know how it's going to survive if they're charging $9 for a sandwich and like $11 and $12 for a combo box. If you can get Popeyes that is almost of comparable quality right up the street at like less than half the price. So anyway, that was my hot chicken experience. You seemed intrigued by the place when you drove by there, Defo, right?
I really wasn't that familiar with it. I actually thought like it had been there for a while, and you were saying that it was a chicken place that had closed when I brought it
No,
up to you.
I got it confused. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about another place further down that is still closed, a place called I think it was called Chick Chicks. This place that is now Clucking
It's
Hot
like a
Chicks.
chain or something, right?
Well, yeah, I guess it's a newly growing chain out of Tennessee. I guess they plan to expand and have a couple of more down here in South Florida. But this is in a former Checkers. You can tell it was like a double drive-through. I don't know what you think about Checkers. Have you ever eaten much in the way of Checkers?
No,
fast food?
Checkers. It has to be over 30 years since I've
You
been
made
to
a
Checkers.
face like I made a face.
No, I
That-
don't know that it's
that's a-
terrible. I mean,
No,
I'll
no,
say
it's
this about
terrible. You can
Checkers.
make the face. You're allowed to make the face.
I mean, I wouldn't be inclined to go there. I'm not a fast food guy. I don't eat McDonald's or Burger King anymore, even though I always liked them, as a kid and, into my adult life. But, I haven't been to any of these kind of places for a while. But, the Checkers, I'll say this for Checkers. Whoever does their advertising, they make the food look great because you want to go there and get some of that stuff. And then the price is fantastic. Now you
Right,
know it's certain
99
pizza
cents. You can't-
chains. You know the pizza stinks, but the pictures of their food are fantastic, aren't they? I mean,
And I
the
think
videos-
if you do
It
enough,
does that to me every time I go
Yeah.
in. Oh my god, it must be amazing.
I got a double bacon, waffle cheeseburger.
and 99 cents too. It's incredible.
Right,
But,
right. I mean, it looks great. The ads actually tempt you to try it if you were thinking about,
Yeah,
breaking
it's very
down and having
effective.
fast food. Yeah.
And the only time the food actually resembles anything like in the ads is if you do enough hallucinogens to completely your sense of
I haven't
reality.
really. I wouldn't recommend to the clientele here. But,
I wouldn't recommend that. No,
it's
not
like we
that.
always say about the hotels in the Keys, where it doesn't look anything like the brochure for the most part.
That's it. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. It's time.
We are winners.
We
We had
have an
18
18-way shake. Okay, so this week, of course, we were talking about. What was the clues? Oh, of course, we were talking about a place that the New Englanders go for their lobsters and steamers and their chowder. And it also had a horse named after it that actually was a successful horse, won a grade 1 in Dubai back in 2007. The name of the restaurant and the horse, Kelly's Landing. And a whole bunch of you got that. And then we had the Sprint Stakes on Saturday's card at Gulfstream, where the favorite, Candyman Rocket, trained by Bill Mott, was the winner, and he won easily. It's one time where a favorite did what he was supposed to do. At one point, he was 4-5, but he went off a little bit above even money, 6-5, which seemed pretty generous when you saw him scamper across the finish line. Did you have any of that action there, Defo? You played the races?
I did not. No, I believe I saw the race, and I think it was a 5-ball won the race. Was that the race I'm thinking of?
No,
That
the
horse
7
was
was the
Seven?
favorite. Rocket Man, Candyman Rocket, Candyman Rocket.
All right.
6
Yeah,
to
I mean,
5,
I remember that
number
horse
7
winning by
horse.
a pretty wide margin.
Yeah.
Very convincing.
Now, I didn't play that much at golf. It was a weird day. Actually, I did play a lot. I was on my couch still sick that day. And it was weird because I put in 2 bets at the beginning of the day. I put $5 on 2 long shots in the Rebel Stakes, including confidence game. And then I proceeded to not cash a ticket the rest of the day, blow through my $100 stack. And then lo and behold, the Rebel Stakes at Oaklawn confidence game won. And he paid $39, and I ended up getting back like $97 and change. And I got back to $99.40 on my $100 outlay for the day. So it was a get out pick in the Rebel Stakes. But anyway, the Gulfstream Park Sprint, Candyman Rocket won, Kelly's Landing. We have 18 names in the hopper this week to win a pair of Sunday brunch vouchers to the fabulous 10 Palms Buffet at Gulfstream Park. Our man Joe Beja takes care of everybody. We had another winner go this past yesterday, and I don't know how that went, but we're going to find out from Natalie Villegas. Hopefully, she was well taken care of. Here we go. I've got a thing.
All righty, who we got?
And this week's winner is. Congratulations to Andrea Birch. Andrea Birch, you are the winner of this week's prize. Brunch for two at the old 10 Palms. So congratulations. Thanks for playing. I will be emailing you and giving you all the details. And thanks to all the other contestants. I know a bunch of you have been in that hat a lot. Try again. We still got another at least month of these to go, and maybe more. We'll see if we can extend this fabulous contest promotion, because people seem to like it. And then you know what? I guess it's time for break number 2, and I got to talk about our friends. We had a great visit last week with Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, Doug Carter and company, and we're going to be going back out there again in March, the same date and day, Thursday, March 23rd. We'll be back out there, and who knows what delights await this time. Defo, you actually enjoyed your stone crab. Definitely not overrated there at Delaware Seafood Market, correct?
No, not in general when they're on the house, but like I said, I don't know. I guess, you know what, the large were big enough for me to think, okay, if you're getting 4 of these for about $48, I'd probably spring for that on a special occasion. I really would.
Yeah, no, and again, the freshness is what separates it. When they just fall out of the shell, and when our man Gene there just like did the magic tap with the magic touch, and then
They were great.
everything broke apart easily, and it's not like they're sticking. It's not like you need to dig in there with all kinds of surgical equipment. It just kind of peels away, and then you just take it and make sure you don't bite into that center cartilage, and then boom, you got yourself nothing but sweet crab goodness. That's what they have at Delaware
The fish tip
Chicken
was
Farm.
great too. They were really cool. We all got some fish tip. It was really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, they pride themselves on, again, quality, service, selection, price. It's all there. I mean, when you go to that poultry counter and you see all those chicken wings, and they price them at $3.99 a pound, and you'll never want to go to the local restaurant again if you could do it yourself. Again, since 1951, it's family owned for over 70 years. It's the home of freshness. I've been going there for over 30 years, and their seafood and everything selection is beautiful, and the way they have it in the display case is gorgeous. They have their house-made sausages, and all this prepared food. You could go in there and get some lobsters steamed, some lobster tails, and just bring them right home. You don't even have to cook them yourself. You just get some side dishes that they have there, and just dig in. They got a full deli case of anything you want. They got delicious tuna salad and chicken salad too. Check it all out at DelawareChicken.com. They're open 7 days a week. They also offer curbside delivery service, so you don't even have to go into the store if you don't want to. For all the details, DelawareChicken.com. Tell them the Lunchbox and Mayo, Defo, and Lubie sent you.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back on the Lunchbox after these words, because I didn't realize we got a wildcat strike. I'm like dealing with
Well, what do you want me to do here, Mayo? Just throw it to the break.
You got it.
do what you usually do. I thought
I don't want to interrupt you. I mean,
division of labor. There's no interruption. It's being difficult today, Lubie.
No, I'm not. I'm just I'm enjoying the show.
Being difficult.
It's a great show.
Lubie's impartial. Is he being difficult or not?
You can ask them. I think both of you are amazing gentlemen, and I love doing this.
Oh, you're just such a terrible politician.
I cannot wait till we get back to finish off another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
Difficult. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back on the Lunchbox. Boy, the hour just flies by when you're brawling with your co-host. So
No brawl. I mean, it's
Mike likes arguing, and he doesn't
yeah.
realize.
You like to
They don't
characterize
do
this
that.
as something
That's
that
not
it
what
isn't.
we
Yeah.
do. Well, Mayo gets up for the arguments, and we're not arguers. Like
No, we're not arguing. I mean,
No,
if you want
come
to
on,
argue,
you
argue
gotta-
with yourself. It's okay.
you got to admit, Defo, you're pushing buttons and you enjoy
I'm not
this.
pushing any buttons. I have my opinion. You don't respect it. It's okay. It's fine. You don't like people to
That's not
interject
button
anything
pushing.
and throw anything at your theory that, geez, you must be a really stupid customer because you ordered the wrong thing. I don't feel that way if I go to a restaurant, that I should feel foolish because I got a lousy meal. I don't
Lubie,
feel that
can
way.
we
I'm
go
sorry.
back to the
I would
tape?
imagine a lot of Let's Eat South Florida
He's
people
talking
of
a
the
lot. Can you go back
100,000
to the
feel
tape?
this-
Did I ever
See,
use
there
the
you go.
word
You don't want to let me
stupid?
finish my thought. So go ahead.
You've been harping on it for 20
I'm not
minutes.
gonna. I told you. I dropped out. You brought it up again, like you always do, and then you don't want the person to make their statement. That's just a trait of the show. It's unfortunate.
Lubie, can you go back to the tape? And did I ever call anybody stupid or an idiot who ordered
You
something?
imply that, oh well, geez, I mean, you keep
should
going
know
back to the
better.
steak from a year ago at
You should
Pizza
know
Hut or
better.
whatever. I mean,
There-
yeah,
I said
I'll
that.
admit I probably
All right.
should order.
I want to
something
move
else.
on. I'm going to move
There
on.
you go. See,
because-
that's exactly what you do. So
well,
we're
you made
fine.
your point, and I have no other points to
I
make.
I
I've
never
made my
finished it.
point. We don't need to.
Yeah,
Go ahead, finish.
I'm done. I'm okay.
No, now you said you weren't finished. I'm giving you an opportunity to finish. Finish.
There's nothing else to say. It's good.
And then you're finished, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Good. We can move on. Congratulations again to Andrea Birch for winning this week's
Congratulations,
contest.
Andrew.
There's a couple other things I wanted to get to, which was well, first of all, we got to talk about our friends Visit Lauderdale. We're scheduled to go
tomorrow.
to Willie T's Seafood Shack. It's a new southern seafood restaurant. You talk about you want some southern food,
Yes.
Lubie. Well, tomorrow we'll be getting it with Mr. Warren Thompson. He's the head of Thompson Hospitality and Restaurant Group, and Nikki Mohan and we're all scheduled to drop in there. It's in the Cordova Shops there, just south of 17th Street in Fort Lauderdale. Awaiting final confirmation, but we were on the schedule, so we're going to be there again. And that's all part of the Greater Fort Lauderdale, Visit Lauderdale, everyone under the sun, every dish under the sun segments that we love to do because there's so much diversity here. We're going to be wrapping up Black History Month with Warren Thompson, who has a really interesting history, backstory, his family history, and the way he is now grown to the chairman and head of Thompson Hospitality that has more than 50 restaurants all over the country, mainly in the DC, Virginia area, but now growing in South Florida. And again, it's all part of the Visit Lauderdale. We love to see the diversity down here, from dockside dining with breathtaking views, lively cafes along Los Olas Boulevard, award-winning chefs serving up every cuisine imaginable. It's a world-class culinary scene here waiting for you. So come stay and play in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Discover taste sensations at more than 4,000 area restaurants. That's a lot of restaurants. And don't forget the thrilling nightlife, the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail, hidden speakeasies, rooftop terraces and bars, expert mixologists. It's a never-ending culinary and libation celebration in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and everyone's invited. So for the latest in events and promotions and happenings, go to visitlauderdale.com. So
Well, Eric's asked a bunch of times because I feel like you've given this rating before, but I can't remember it. It's been a long weekend and been a fun show. So, what are some places you have given 4 stars to, like Mayo's top rating?
Yeah. I saw that question, and it's a good question because I haven't been at the paper now for over 3 years. But let's say if I was still reviewing in places that I've gone to lately, what would get, places that would get my highest, and I'm pretty exacting. I would only give out 4 stars to less than like 5% of the restaurants I reviewed. Right now, Evelyn's, the one that I rave about constantly at the Four Seasons Hotel in Fort Lauderdale. To me, that is the total package, service and originality, cuisine, just the artfulness of the plates. And even though it's a little bit pricier, it is a just, to me, good value because I'm willing to pay higher prices for something that's truly special. And Evelyn's right now is a 4-star experience. Up in Palm Beach County, I still love the Grove. It's a place in Delray Beach that's kind of small and also expensive, but everything they do is exquisite. The chef there and owner, his name is Michael Haycock. He's a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America. So you've got the Grove, and then Oceano Kitchen, where the couple that run it, the Biermans, Cynthia and Jeremy Bierman. Cynthia is the pastry chef, but also helps in the kitchen, and Jeremy is the overall chef. But the two of them, they do an outstanding job, and they just got nominated for Beard Awards. James Beard, Best Chef in the South. They got nominated as a couple. So Oceano Kitchen is an all-cash place, and they don't take reservations, but it's worth showing up there with a wad of greenbacks. And they have basically they change the menu every day depending on what's fresh, and everything is good. That's a restaurant, Defo, where nobody can go wrong because everything I've ever ordered at that restaurant comes out perfectly. How's that for bringing it back? Can we be friends? Can I extend?
I'm fine. Believe me, Michael. I don't take this stuff as seriously as you do. I mean, you get all verklempt. I've done 8 zillion shows in my lifetime. I've had a million on-air arguments with different people. I had disagreements, but no, I'm fine. There's no hostility whatsoever.
Okay, that's good to hear. And that's good because I had a lot more eating stuff to get to, but we were so busy, I guess, exchanging our different viewpoints. And I just want to give you one more opportunity. I don't want to say that you.
I can't get into it anymore. I will never bring this subject up again about the menu items and whether a restaurant should, if they have something on the menu, you should expect it to be somewhat representative of the rest of the food.
Okay.
I think that makes sense. That's the thing. If you're paying $60, where did I go? I went somewhere and I was like, I don't mind if this is not what you normally serve, but then why is it that expensive? And then I'm not supposed to have high expectations. Like, I can give you
exactly matter. My point. Well condensed there, capsulized by Lubie.
But Mayo's not totally wrong because a lot of time now prices are just insane. You're just supposed to expect insane prices, and I don't understand that. Like, there's got to be a middle ground there. Like,
Oh, now Joe Beja is coming in. He goes, Mike, didn't you go to Runway and order a steak? Doesn't that go against the
exactly.
principle? Well, the thing is,
Steak
they've
is-
revamped the menu and have introduced this new highfalutin steak program. So I wanted to try it. And I thought it was excellent. So in that case, it has now become a
the other
new
way.
welcome addition, a component of Runway 84, besides the Italian American classics. So there you go. But thank you, Joe, for keeping me honest. That's a good way. See, that's the way to debate. Kind of make a point where he's
don't
like,
want to debate. You want
No
to debate.
debate. I don't know.
We
You're the
wanna
one that goes crazy. Like, I don't want to do this. I mean, it's like
We just want to talk about food. I don't
it's
want
the
to.
way you handle this situation. I was just making a very simple point that Lubie capsulized brilliantly, and I don't think people should feel badly if they ordered something off a menu at a restaurant, and and it turned out to be crud. That's not indicative of the rest of the items on the menu.
Do you know what you
I
should?
don't think you should sit there and go, "Oh my God, what an idiot I am for ordering this."
I didn't say
particular item."
that, but did you send it back and say you would like to find something?
No,
that's a
because
little
I
bit
mean,
to
it
your
wasn't
liking?
like it was so bad. It just was disappointing. That's all.
Just bad enough for you to go on here and rank on it.
Oh well,
every
see,
time
there you go.
listen.
You always want to make more of it than it is. So,
He didn't. You
for
asked
that,
him about it.
I will never ever raise this point again, ever.
He did not go on to let's
When you bring it up, I'll have no comment on it. Zero.
I just think that whatever we've talked
Just
about.
leave it
If
alone.
you
We
go to a
all-
place, ask the waiter. Hopefully, the waiters and waitresses will guide you in the proper direction of whatever the house does best.
Well, and we're gonna go, but is that annoying? Because I do that a lot. I don't know how if people judge me for doing it because you're more decisive. I like learning about a place and appreciate if the people who work there know what they're doing. Now they don't always know, so that's always fun. But usually they do, and I appreciate. And I've rarely been steered in the wrong direction. Like, is that annoying that when people do that? Because I do it everywhere I go. I always ask the server, like, "What do you? Here's 3 things I like. What do you think?" Like, is that weird that people do that? Is that annoying? Is that bad etiquette?
You just have to be careful because some servers like to upsell. So if the server is always recommending the market price fish special when you don't know what the price is, and then you ask and it's like $20 above every other entree, then that server might not be trusted. They're just guilty of upselling. But hopefully you get a good one because they want you to be happy and want you to come back and want you to tip well. So it's like anything else in the restaurant game. It's a tricky proposition at this point. Is that fair to say, Defo,
Yeah,
that
I totally agree.
restaurants can be a minefield?
It shouldn't be. I mean, you go to a place with a good reputation, and you're expecting a certain level of quality.
Shouldn't be. No, there's a lot that shouldn't be in this world. But again, we have to take the world as is, flaws and all. All right, that's going to do it for today. Thanks everybody for stopping by and tuning in. Tomorrow we're going to be at Willie T's Seafood Shack, the new restaurant in the Cordova Shops with Nikki Mohan. Defo, you going to show up, or are you?
You know what? I'm not sure yet what my schedule looks like, but it is a bit of a schlep, and you usually have the owner on for most of the shows. So with Nikki, maybe I'll just hang here for a while.
Okay. So are we officially going to now in the New York Post would the headline be Defo Mayo feud widens?
There's no feud, Michael. I mean,
Defo
it's
to
fine
skip
with me. I
Tuesday's
don't
show.
take this as seriously as you do. I guess I don't know. I mean, I it's a restaurant business we're talking about. People have their own opinion. That's why it's good to see Let's Eat South Florida and the variety of opinions.
I think your behavior today. I mean,
my behavior was fine. I just take exception with somebody telling me that I'm an idiot from some dish I ordered
Never
a
use
year
the word
ago.
idiot.
That everybody should feel stupid if they order the wrong thing. I don't believe that. I really don't.
and
I think Joe Vega said it exactly right. Yeah, that's I mean, sure, you go to a steakhouse, you probably want to order a steak, but if you order something else, it should at least be good.
100%.
I don't want to step on you. Done now? Can I speak?
I've been done, Michael. You're the one that keeps bringing it up, and then you say something to the guy, and then you're
Because you
mad
would
at him
say-
for saying his opinion.
No, but you say that you're not like arguing or whatever. I find it a little bit passive aggressive today. You just sit there and like in a way that's
you know what? I'm done with that topic.
All right.
Believe me, I will
think
never
I
ever
think we
comment
need
on it
to,
again. Ever.
I don't know. I think we got a full blown. I don't know what's going on. I hope that Well, whatever. We'll be on the air tomorrow,
We will.
and
Leave the people wondering what's going to happen.
yeah, he might walk. He might.
He has been a
might go
party
off
he's on
stage.
air before. This is not that. Even though we should just do it, but no, I don't want to do that.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Nothing is
So,
personal, in this business. Trust me.
strictly business.
Yeah.
This is the what's the this? Is
I
the
believe that there
life we have
will be a
chosen.
faction
This
of
is-
people that feel the same way. I do.
No,
Everyone agrees with you.
And maybe there are probably a lot of people that agree with you that don't order the fish.
If you're paying
at a steak
$60 for a steak, it should
Should
come
be
out
good steak.
good.
Yes.
but
If
I
it's
was a
not
server,
good-
and if somebody asked me, hey, do you recommend this, and I really wasn't a fan of the dish, or I thought it wasn't
Yes.
coming out especially good that night, I would say, you know what, I might consider the shrimp fra diavolo instead.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
Greek
honest.
restaurant,
which I knew
would
was
go-
going to be good.
go with something with a little oregano at a Greek restaurant, a little olive oil, oregano, something, a little feta cheese. But that's just me. And again, for the people out there, if something's not to your satisfaction, tell them at the time before you eat the whole dish, and then maybe they could offer you another dish, and then you'll be happier and not have to go on to Let's Eat South Florida and scream to the world about how terrible a different place is or whatever. But that's a whole other story for another day.
We've talked about that.
I'm exhausted. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good day. And remember, everybody out there, really, this is for real. Enjoy every day because you never know what could happen, and enjoy every sandwich.